Okay, Valerie Solanas. Little background if you haven't heard of this woman. A radical feminist, perhaps best known for trying to kill the artist Andy Warhol. From what I understand, she had a very troubled childhood. She graduated from the University of Maryland with a degree in psychology. I gather that after college she travelled around the United States. To support herself, she worked as a prostitute. She ends up moving to New York in the mid-1960s. I don't really want to get into the whole Solanas Warhol story here, or the events leading up to the shooting. You can go and do your own research on that. It's interesting though. Yeah. But anyway, Solanas was a writer. Probably her most notable work was the Scum Manifesto, which was first published in 1967, I believe. 10 years after she wrote it, she claimed that the manifesto was just a literary device, not an organisation. Some have called the manifesto satire or parody, and I've heard various people make claims that the work is not a put-on, it's a serious work. She wasn't joking. This work isn't difficult to find online. You shouldn't have any problems. Yeah. I'm going to give you a few quotes as well as my own thoughts here. Quotes from the manifesto. Alright then. Life in this society being at best an utter bore, and no aspect of society being at all relevant to women, there remains to civic-minded, responsible, thrill-seeking females only to overthrow the government, eliminate the money system, institute complete automation and destroy the male sex. So yeah, pretty ambitious goals if you take her seriously. Valerie said, quote, "The male is a biological accident. The Y, male gene, is an incomplete X, female gene. That is, it has an incomplete set of chromosomes. In other words, the male is an incomplete female, a walking abortion, aborted at the gene stage. To be male is to be deficient, emotionally limited. Maleness is a deficiency disease, and males are emotional cripples," end quote. Yeah, this sets the tone for the manifesto, really. Men are the enemy, subhuman, not capable of empathy or friendship or love, obsessed with fucking, completely self-involved, psychically passive, etc., etc. Quote, "Being an incomplete female, the male spends his life attempting to complete himself, to become female. He attempts to do this by constantly seeking out, fraternizing with, and trying to live through and fuse with the female, and by claiming as his own all female characteristics: emotional strength and independence, forcefulness, dynamism, decisiveness, coolness, objectivity, assertiveness, courage, integrity, vitality, intensity, depth of character, grooviness, etc., and projecting onto women all male traits: vanity, frivolity, triviality, weakness, etc. It should be said, though, that the male has one glaring area of superiority over the female: public relations. He has done a brilliant job of convincing millions of women that men are women and women are men. The male claim that females find fulfillment through motherhood and sexuality reflects what males think they'd find fulfilling if they were female." End quote. To call this work man-hating would be to state the bloody obvious, assuming it isn't satire, that is, working on that assumption. There's a lot of nonsense in this just on the basic level, but also there's pie-in-the-sky stuff. For instance, quote, "There's no reason why a society of rational beings capable of empathizing with each other, complete, and having no natural reason to compete, should have a government, laws, or leaders." End quote. Yeah. Being rational and having the ability to put yourself in another's shoes doesn't rule out competition. You know, females compete with each other all the time for one reason or another. Even if you had this world with no money, no men, complete automation, you would still surely find problems in human relations, environmental and technological issues, and the need for some rules for one reason or another, the need for laws, and the need for some form of government. But yeah, trying to talk sense to a utopian anarchist, which I have tried to do before, that is an uphill battle. Yeah, you're in for a struggle there. Valerie Solanas thought all diseases were curable, aging and death could be eliminated, so no need for future generations. It's an interesting thought, a world without reproduction, a world where individuals lived forever. No one does live forever, of course, but interesting, right? I don't think this manifesto is comedy, that's just my opinion. I understand a lot of people will disagree with me. There are funny lines in it, yeah, but I would say it's in parts unintentionally amusing, yeah. The world as envisaged by Valerie Solanas will never be, you know. But what's most interesting to me is thinking about her state of mind when she wrote this, or when she was out selling it. What events, what early experiences moulded her mind, and what was daily life like for her in that social environment around the mid to late 1960s. If you've not read the Scum Manifesto, I'd say it's worth a look. Maybe your view will be different from mine. Perhaps you will see it as satire. Yeah. She was diagnosed with chronic paranoid schizophrenia in 1969 after a psychiatric evaluation, and she was institutionalized several times. She died at the relatively young age of 52 in 1988. One thing that's true is that she has undeniably become a cult figure.